everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's an author, and she has a book out right now, which a follow-up is coming up soon, but it's called Vampire Thoughts. I have with us Asher Dark. Asher, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hello, thank you for having me. Yay.
It's a pleasure having you on. I had carried on a couple months ago, and that was fun. I got a copy of your book. Loved it.
The Splatter Park.
yes. And for everybody that doesn't know, Asher will write some dark shit. Some dark shit. Asher, tell us a little bit about Vampire Thoughts.
Vampire Thoughts was me and my husband were talking one day about how what a vampire would kind of like, what their butt would sound like when they were twerking. Like how it would probably we were trying to make the sound, and then this whole idea for Vampire Thoughts came up, and I wrote it in one night. It's insane. It's Lexi and Gina are best friends. They go to this country barn party. If you live in the country or you've been out in the woods, they throw some hella parties, and there end up being some vampires, and all hell breaks loose.
Nice. Now, it took you one night to write?
Yep.
Now, I have a question. Listen, like I said, I've read one of your books. How do you come up with these thoughts in your head? I mean, you have some off-the-wall crazy shit.
Well, I got a crazy family, for one.
Okay, me too.
And then, just some of the shit that they say, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write a book on this. Or then I just Splatter Park. I watched a lot of True Blood and got a little inspired with that. I was like, well, what if it was something like this, but it was a little more fucked up?
Yeah. and so when it came to Vampire Thoughts, like I said, you're dropping the sequel this month. Now, when you were writing it, were you planning on it being a second book?
Mm-hmm. Yes. There's actually going to be a few of them, and then eventually I'll combine them.
Now, how do you do that? So when you're writing a book and you got in your mind, okay, there's going to be some follow-ups after this. How do you determine, okay, where am I going to end this and where I'm going to pick it up for the next book?
It's just really each book is going to be centered around two best friends. And actually the titles came to me that night. I'll give you a little peek of my titles that are coming up.
Sure.
It's Werewolf Wop, Zombie Zaddy, and Banshee Batty. Those are already the ones that I already have mapped out and ready to write.
So what is your writing process? I mean, so you come up with these ideas in the middle of the night. Do you have a specific area that you go to? Is it a specific time of day? Do you have to have a certain type of music on? Do you have to have some smoke nearby or drink nearby? What is your...
I definitely smoke. I'll smoke. And I like to put on, like I said, I watch True Blood, Supernatural, or just a horror movie in the background. And then I write in this little area behind me, which has got all my thing, some of my horror stuff up there. I have a whole area out there, but I like being in my room with my dogs, and I can just, when I want to write, I can move from my bed to right here and just do what I want to do. But I always map out stuff too. I write character names, ideas of what the story might look like, even though they don't always go that way. But I pretty much, when I get the idea, I'll write it down, boom, 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 and then I try to put it all together.
Now, is it hard as an author to not put yourself into these characters?
I'm sorry?
Is it hard as an author not to put a little bit of yourself into your characters?
Oh, definitely. My first book, Vampires and Whatever Else, Nina was a lot of me. And people, especially women, they love that. They love Nina's character. And I get so excited because I'm she's kind of me. And then I put a lot of the countryness and the comedy, because I'm got the mind of a teenage boy, and I like to put that into my stories and stuff, like Titty Tater.
Can't listen. Who doesn't love titties? I mean, they're amazing. now, now, now you brought up True Blood. I was a huge True Blood fan, but I didn't get into it until like late. I'm sure my age. The Blockbuster. I used to go to a Blockbuster because I didn't have HBO, and I used to write. I mean, I used to rent the actual seasons. And True Blood was such a fucking good show, but it fell apart the last two seasons. I never even finished the final season. It fell apart.
Yeah, it got weird.
Yeah.
Have you ever read the books?
I have not.
The books are like completely different, like especially the last few books in the last few seasons. I actually like the books better, but the show had like a whole new like spin on it that I enjoyed as well.
And like I mean like when that show came out, I was working in the office. And I was the only guy. I was working with all women, so they're talking about True Blood, True Blood, True Blood, and like I was like, is this a chick show? But no, I mean, listen, I mean, there's enough badass vampires, werewolves, titties, sex scenes enough that will please any guy too.
I made my husband watch it. And at first he was like, I don't want to watch it. What are you making me? And then he was like, oh, are we going to watch True Blood tonight? Yeah, we are.
Now, which character on True Blood would you say you're the most like?
Tara.
I love Tara.
Probably.
I love the beginning Tara. I didn't like Tara towards the end. She got kind of whiny and annoying towards the end.
I like the first episode, Tara. Where the lady came in at her job and she quit and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love original Tara. Tara's the best. Now, Carrie, you do a lot of collaborating with her. Is it nice to have another author to be able to bounce ideas off of?
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to have somebody that's like, in North Carolina like me as well.
Yes. By the way, shout out to North Carolina. And because I mean, and like you and Carrie, you both, by the way, if you want to see my interview with Carrie at the end, hit the little button and it'll go straight to our interview. Because Carrie, she writes some dark stuff too. And like, I've known Carrie for a while now. And like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I kind of like, hey, maybe you got some pretty dark shit. Maybe you should get that out there, and like, wow, like you two. I mean, you're like peas in a pod.
We had fun doing the little videos for it too. We made a couple little TikTok videos, being ridiculous, squealing like pigs.
Now, Asher, listen, I'm going to bring up a controversial topic right now. There's a lot of bullshit that's going on in the indie horror writing author community right now. What do you think is going on? Like, what is going on?
I don't know. Normally, I don't pay attention to stuff. Other people have to point it out for me because I'm just like in la la land. Like, everybody's great. Everybody loves each other. And then it's not like that. And I'm like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Like, I think that people just, maybe they put too much of their stuff, like their feelings and like they're in the moment on Facebook, and they need to like just maybe take a moment and reflect and think about it before you press that post button. I think everybody could benefit from just chilling out a little bit.
I agree, because I've interviewed indie horror authors in the past, and they were like, "Oh, I saw that you had such and such on the fucking show. I can't stand that fucking person." And I'm like, "Holy shit! Like, why is there so much drama?" It's just a small community.
It is. And I didn't really start noticing the drama when I first entered the community, but now it's like just every day. So I'm just like, okay, let's scroll past this. It's almost like it gives me anxiety. I'm over here in the corner eating snacks. Like, can we please act right? Can we please just love each other?
All right. So what got you into horror writing? I'm pretty sure you've always been a horror fan, but what makes you be like, you know what? I'm going to put these dark thoughts on the paper.
I read Violence on the Meek. changed like the aggressive style that it was written, and just the how fucked up it was. I was like, I want to do this. I want to write like this. This is the genre I want to start writing in. And I just became obsessed. And then to find out that I'm a huge Lost Souls is my favorite book ever. And I read that in Exquisite Corpse when I was a teenager, and read them, every couple years. And I didn't realize that like that was kind of in the same genre that I ended up writing in and stuff. And think that was like my first like introduction into like a little bit more hard horror.
And you write splatterpunk, which is, by the way, for people who don't know, tell us what splatterpunk is.
It's basically like punk. What is punk to you? Like back in the day, it was like a movement and stuff. It's gore, but it's not gore for the sake of gore. There's also a story and a meaning behind that. Where extreme is just like, balls to the wall, and sometimes it might not have like a deeper, more profound meaning. What is splatterpunk? That's what we do, or we try to do.
And splatterpunk has been it's I mean, in the last year it's fucking shot. There's so many splatterpunk authors. I've interviewed several. Even, I mean, listen, I'm friends with a lot. You have a Facebook group as well, and I'm friends with a lot of other authors. Mm-hmm. It has a movement right now that's going on.
Yep.
And I mean, even in movies, like, a lot of movies that are coming out are like, I would say, in the splatterpunk realm.
There is a TV show with Niecy Nash out right now. I want to say it's called Grotesquerie. It's something like that, but it gives me like so much like splatterpunk vibes. Like I'm like, this is splatter, and the TV show. It's on Hulu. It's like so good. I love it.
Now, is it hard as a horror author, not to be the stereotypical woman horror author, if that makes any sense? Like I've met so many women who are authors now who are writing hardcore shit, and like, the stereotype is, when it comes to a woman horror author, it has to be a little bit romantic, it has to include vampires, it has to be blah 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 blah. Isn't it amazing to be able to say, fuck this shit, this is not what a woman horror author is. This is, I choose what I write.
Yep. Like, I was like, I'm going to do Uncle Fuckers. Like, and I thoroughly enjoyed writing that story. Or the Pork Hole Shootout, which everybody says is like their favorite. Like, I grew up with a bunch of loud, short, stocky aunts, bunch of sisters. We're loud. We like burp in public. We're probably the people that you don't want to sit beside. And so I was like, this is just me. I'm not going to be like dainty. Like, I'm going to make inappropriate jokes. I'm going to like snort, laugh. Like, that's just how I am. Just breaking the molds.
Now, have you wrote anything so fucked up and dark that you were like, you wrote it down and then you read it back, you were like, yeah, I think this is too far?
Yeah, and Gothic Filth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't do a lot of kid stuff in books, but I kind of threw a toddler in a dryer, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is a lot. And I was like, but I didn't go into like detail. I just kind of briefly mentioned the way he sounded being tumbled in there. But other than that, I was like, whoa. And I don't do animal stuff like that. I wrote a scene in Gothic Filth that made me cry. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing animals no more.
Now, is your husband the first person who reads your stuff when you're done?
No, I tell him about it. But normally, my friend on Facebook, Danielle Yvonne, she does like a bunch of reviews and stuff. She's like the first person I'm like, girl, you got to read this. Like, read it now. And she reads it as soon as I give it to her.
Now, as an indie horror author, I've asked this with a lot of indie horror authors. Is it hard to stand out? I know that you were just in St. Louis at an AuthorCon. Is it hard to stand out and get your name out?
I feel like it is, but you just gotta be yourself and just keep trying, keep putting yourself out there, and eventually you're gonna catch on some. Like I was nervous at AuthorCon, but I walked around as a huge fan. Like my friend Dan, I just was going down the little aisle trying to promote his stuff, and people kind of remember me from that. And then he also got people that wanted a fan. So I kind of tried to put myself out there.
But that's what you got to do. I mean, I have a marketing background, a sales background, but that's what you kind of got to do. You got to self-promote, and you can't be. I think that's hard for a lot of indie authors, horror authors, because most indie horror authors are introverts. I feel like, and it's hard to put yourself out there and be like, "Hey, this is who I am, Asher Dark. This is my book." It's hard to do.
It took me a little bit to get to where, when my first book was out, I was just so nervous. I didn't want to like ask anybody to read it and stuff. But being around like certain authors who have like pushed me to better myself, like Judith Stewart, Jason Nickey, like they have been like, you got this, you can do this, and just help me believe in myself a little bit more. And it's made me more open about wanting to like share my stuff and promote my stuff and put myself out there.
Now, do you help a lot of newer indie horror authors?
Anybody that tells me that they've been thinking about writing, I'm like, do it. You got questions? Let me know. Like, C Extreme, he just put a book out, Heartbeat, and I almost cried when I read it. I was so proud of him because he gave me an idea about a book to write, and I was like, how about you write it? And it just came out amazing, and it was like a good feeling because somebody did the same to me, and I'm just trying to pass that along. I'll help anybody. Arc read, I love doing all that stuff.
And that's what you got to do. I mean, like, I'm in the indie horror realm, with my YouTube channel, and like I have on smaller, brand new YouTube horror creators on all the time to promote their channel because, like, someone did that for me when I first started, and like, you have to. I mean, that's the way to do it, and because you got to drop down the ladder for other people to climb up.
Yeah. Everybody should be able to eat.
Exactly. All right, Asher. You've probably seen my channel, so you know what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna ask you 3 random horror questions. This is personal opinion. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite kill scene in a horror movie of all times?
That's gonna. I should have thought about this. I don't know. I'd have to. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm a big screen person, but I like stabby type stuff because it makes me. The thing about a knife going in somebody just makes me like cringe. I could like see a head being chopped off or something or exploding, but like the insert of the blade just makes me like. And I like
because someone getting their head chopped off, I don't feel like they feel that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just black. But the knife going, I agree, the knife going into you, you're definitely feeling that motherfucker going all the way in. You're feeling it hitting your vital organs and everything. And the pain has to be excruciating.
I did just see something recently. I think it was called Mr. Crockett. It's a new Hulu movie. And this demon chair cuts this guy's stomach in. And then the dinner he was trying to force feed his son, he puts it in his stomach and the plate and all that. Like, I was like, oh, this is great.
Ooh,
it was tough. Insane.
Second question is, if you could have any horror director make an adaptation, film adaptation of one of your books, who would it be?
Honestly, I would love, like, probably everybody would say Wes Craven, but vampires, I think he could do fantastic with vampires and whatever else, which is like my favorite book that nobody ever fucking reads.
That's a great one. That's one of my favorites, actually. By the way, I fucking love vampires, and like I'm glad that vampires are getting like a rejuvenation after the whole Twilight. I feel like Twilight killed vampires for a while. I feel like
a little bit, but mine,
yeah,
I like to say that mine's like a Twilight splatterpunk. I want to take the
but
whole like Twilight, the good parts of Twilight, and like keep those, but make it more darker and more extreme.
yes, because vampires have to be dark. You know what I mean? Yes, yes, vampires are also romantic characters, but you got to have that dark. You have to. And the final question: who's your favorite final girl in a horror film?
Of course, it's Jamie. It's always going to be Jamie. I'm a
Yes,
Scream and Halloween are my favorite like franchises. So Sydney, Jamie, but Jamie is always.
I agree. Laurie Strode is my number one favorite, but Sidney Prescott is a close number two because Sidney Prescott to watch her evolve over the Scream films is
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
I'm a huge character development fan, and I loved seeing that in each film.
Are you excited to see Scream 7?
I am. I know
I'm
people
nervous
are
about
like, meh, but I'm just like, I like all of them. I don't care. Like,
because Scream, if you think about it, is the most consistent. I'm not saying all of them are great. I'm not saying all of them are
yeah.
amazing, but there's not a bad film in the series, and I would say it's the most consistent horror series out there because there is no bad film in the series. There's some that are better than others, like part one, part two, but there's no bad film in the series.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of them, but they won't. Not everyone was my. Like, I wouldn't watch every one of them over and over again.
Yeah. I tell everybody all the time. I actually did a review on part 6. I saw that in the theaters opening night, and I was like, oh my god, is this the best Scream movie I've ever seen? Like watching it, and then I get to that last 25% of movies, I was like, damn, this was so good, and I don't know how you just fell off the cliff so hard so quick. I mean, it was the most ruthless ghost face I've seen in a Scream movie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I love the urban setting compared to the rural setting from the other movies, and I just felt like even like when some of the Fab Five or what they called it in the movies, even like we thought that some of them died, I was like, oh my goodness, like no one's safe. But then like you get to the let's call it, you're like, oh, that was a predictable killer. Oh, they're not really dead. They're still alive. Like it was just like, oh.
Yeah, yeah. I felt the same way. It was great, and then it was like, okay.
Yeah. I was like, okay. In the beginning, I was like, okay, I think that guy is a killer, but there's no way. That's so obvious. There's no way he can be the killer, you know. And then, oh, he's the killer. Oh, son of a bitch. Yeah.
Should have listened to me.
Exactly. Asher, where can everyone find you and your books?
Facebook, Amazon. I got Splatter Park, and Thoughts is on Godless, and I plan on trying to put more out on Godless because I love Godless and Drew and what he's trying to do.
Godless is amazing. Listen, everybody, go there, follow Asher, get over Godless, purchase her books, and just follow Godless. There's a bunch of good shit up there. Also, too, if you're on Facebook, get over to, it's called Spider-Punk Society, right?
Spider-Punk Society, yeah.
Yes, go ahead and follow them. I follow them. I post in them in that group all the time.
Yeah.
Asher, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I made that group after some drama from another group, and I was like, I just want to make a group that's no drama. And so like we kind of created something that got way bigger than I thought it was going to. And even though we celebrate splatter, all horror is welcome to be talked about in
there. 100%. And like I said, it was one of the groups that there's no drama. There's absolutely no drama in that group.
I can't take it.
Asher, it's been a pleasure having you on. Listen, we're definitely going to be talking soon.
Definitely. I have
keep
fun.
Up the good work. And keep up the good work, too. Keep up the good work. You and Carrie are fucking killing it right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's Asher Dark. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.